So, Wolfie, what do they call a bunch of developers working together?
Oh, I don't know.
A merge conflict.
Okay. Okay, hello everybody and welcome to our third videocast. I'm Wolfi, with me is Elad, and we are both certified LeSS trainers, and like in the previous video, we have selected a topic around the large-scale Scrum, which we want to discuss with you. This time it's colocation.
Yes. And before we start, let's just define colocation or what it means for us, I think. We are pretty much aligned on that. So the simplest definition of colocation for us is working in the same room at the same time. I think that is the simplest definition, right? Okay.
Yeah. So before we get started, let's have a quick reminder on how we actually do this webcast. So we will have 2 5-minute time box discussions. At the beginning of each time box, we will have one question for the other one. And then in the end, we will have a short insight from the person. All right. So let's then start with the first question, Elad. And we remember our 5 minutes time box. Now in these times of ongoing corona pandemic, co-location seems not wanted or even desired by the people. What does it mean to the requirement to have co-located teams?
And just for clarification, I'm stating for the audience that you are referring to the fact that there is a rule in the LeSS framework that says co-located is mandatory, right?
Yes.
This is like, okay. So my simple answer for that is that this requirement is unfortunately not applicable at the moment. I mean, right? What can we do? People are obliged to be far away from each other. Social distancing has become the norm, unfortunately. Still, the longer answer is that I think this requirement is still valid while not applicable, because until we learn new ideas, concepts, ways, tools, my experience, and some research also supports that, is that co-located teams will almost always outperform distributed teams or remote teams, okay? Now, all of that being said, we know that we don't really have the data to indicate whether the overall effectiveness of the IT organization as an entity is reduced by the current reality or is not reduced, maybe even improved. What I do know for a fact is that this new way of working and this rapid change that we are experiencing now introduced more complexity and more waste and more handoffs and stuff like that. So if we introduce more complexity, for me, it will result in being less effective. And this is something which I would like to avoid. Right? But let's take this question even a bit further and look into the future, because I don't know when this pandemic will be over. I don't know, maybe you do, but I don't have any knowledge to indicate when it is over. So let's imagine the faraway future. I can imagine a reality, like a science fiction kind of reality, when people are working remotely and having an experience of being co-located. Have you seen Avengers movies or like sci-fi movies and stuff like that? They have this thing with holograms, right? Where people are not in the room, but people are actually talking to them and communicating with them as if they are in the room. So I think somewhere in the future, we could have virtual reality or augmented reality or any kind of technology to actually simulate the experience of colocation. But right now, this technology, while it exists, it is very clumsy, it is not easy to use, it is not friendly. You can even, I don't see myself wearing any kind of device from what is currently existing for more than 30 minutes. Even that's a lot, okay?
Yep.
So collocation as a requirement is still important, and we know, as trainers, we know that there is an ongoing discussion in the LeSS community about this collocation. From the moment the COVID-19 outbreak started, we were all discussing, okay, what about collocation? So organization cannot be less anymore because collocation is not an option. What will we do? And I'm really happy that we are having this discussion. It's an important discussion and conversation to have. I think the idea to remove it in order to have more organizations be able to adopt less is flawed at its basis, because many of the rules in the LeSS framework actually are like that. Many of the rules are, I wouldn't say impossible, but very, very hard for most of the organizations to achieve, right?
Yep.
And we still don't try to optimize the framework for those organizations. I think that the power of LeSS is the fact that we are not, unlike maybe other frameworks, we do not try to bend the rules to make LeSS easier to adopt or easier to accept. It shows in every aspect of the LeSS framework, also in the way that we perform the trainings, in the way that we choose the trainers, in everything. There is a tendency to put quality as a number one thing.
And
That's
the
it.
time is up.
Oh, yay! I love that. Okay, then how about you share some insights? Did you have anything new come to your mind while hearing my answer?
Well, I think the insight, what I really take away here is this, that this is a temporary situation and we should treat it like this. So we should not make a permanent exception to the rule and just ignore co-location completely. And in this way, I think that is the biggest takeaway. And the second one is also that, yes, we simply don't know what the future will bring, also from a technology point of view. So yes, we all have seen Star Wars adventures and all this great stuff. Many things might be possible, many things might not be possible. We don't know.
Yes. So, Wolfi, then, my question to you is, what challenges are you seeing and witnessing in the market now when facing with this distributed work or remote work, and how could we overcome or deal with those challenges?
Well, I think I see a whole bunch of challenges, so I will just pick a few which I think are the most relevant one. First of all, it's about the communication. So communication general in the organization between the different teams towards PO and so on is becoming more difficult, but especially between the team members, as the team is kind of the nucleus of the whole development work, it has become much more difficult now, meaning like the persons are not present anymore, or there will be delays in communication. We will have queues and information scatter and all this kind of wastes, what are actually known from the lean side, basically. And secondly, concerning the communication, is that big part of our communication between humans is, of course, nonverbal. And now what happens to this if you cannot see the other person? And even if you can see the other person, that you say, oh, okay, now we are great, we have video calls, even then, not everything is covered. And on the other hand, we open up another problem then. So I have seen organizations that said, okay, now we go to a video, we want to have video call, but the organization did not allow to have video calls or tools with video calls. And then I said, okay, now we allow the tools with video calls. And then the problem was the bandwidth was insufficient. So it was a nightmare. So you couldn't basically see anything. So these are all the problems then which are actually coming with this, and other issues might occur because maybe IT department has to save money, they don't have budget, and all this kind of political games might actually occur nowadays then. Yeah. And then, of course, another thing is this, that because of this lack of communication or insufficient or ineffective communication, we might actually see long-term consequences, which are totally unknown to us today. We could imagine just that, okay, maybe in design decisions which we need to do today will have long-term effects on the code quality or on the ideas we are doing, or maybe architectural decisions are not done optimized. So those are kind of things which might happen we don't see yet today and we can't foresee. Also, a lot of these informal conversations are missing. Yeah, you all know we go together to lunch, or we have, for example, a chat on the coffee table. And well, I have been participating quite a whole bunch of the meetups and so on. There came plenty of ideas, like for example, having a virtual coffee session. Yeah, everybody comes with a cup of coffee, and okay, you are then there, so you have the informal discussion. Then, of course, if you think about the people are then working from home all the time, there might be other things to be considered, like a lot of distraction. The wife is at home, the kids are at home, they are seeing daddy is here, or your mother is here, so they are demanding you, and everybody needs to work from home. Maybe your kids are still living there, studying, going to school. Everybody has the same, and how does this all work? And actually, can your IT system handle all the video calls required there? So, so that is quite another thing. And then I think also what we have seen is there is this screen fatigue. So this means before this, the developers had a break from looking at the screen because they had a daily or they went to the coffee table and so on. But now everything is on the screen. So your daily is on the screen. Your coffee round is on the screen. Maybe you have virtual lunches and all this. So people get really tired, and we don't all know what happens basically with this one. There are also a few positive things we have seen. So I have also heard from people that, well, I don't need to commute anymore, or I can come to the meetup because I can do it now quickly. I don't have to travel anymore. So those are a few positive things we have seen. Also maybe some improvement in the visibility of where we are with the work, because now the boards are frequently updated and not once in a while. And last but not least, I think we have seen that the management has no other choice but to trust the people right now and cannot anymore control them in this way. So I think those are the things I can say here.
I have some insights regarding how to say, which are kind of funny to me because they are not directly connected to what you talked about. But I want to share what went through my head. So you said you started mentioning in the beginning about the fact that the infrastructure might not support, and the IT department and political games and all kinds of things like that would prevent the organization from succeeding or from overcoming those challenges. And I want to share some experience that I have with my customers, that I was like, because of this big change, organizations were like in survival mode. They were pushed to do things that they were not able before. And like decision-making wise, I had customers that in one day decided on a budget expense to have for all of the company's employees to upgrade their home network to fiber, so they have enough bandwidth. And that decision in real life could take years. Like if you take a normal daily thing, a manager would say, let's upgrade all of our employees to fiber. That could take years. So in some aspect, this new reality on top of the challenges actually maybe showed organizations or gave them the experience. Yes, we can do it faster. We can actually be more effective. That was it. It's our short and fun format of answering questions, sharing our thoughts with you. We'd like to thank you very much for watching. We really hope, Wolfi and I really hope that you found this video valuable and interesting, and a learning experience, maybe even. If you have any comments, if you disagree with us, if you think we are right, if you have any suggestions for future topics, please do not hesitate to post them. And we will see you next time with a new topic and 2 questions.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye, Wolfi. have 20 seconds left.
Okay.
You can go wild.
I go wide.
Yeah.
Oh!
Okay, so we just saved